A new Netflix docuseries called America's Sweethearts is putting the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders under the microscope, offering an up-close look at the physical toll, like life-altering injuries, as well as the relentless body criticism these women endure. It is also drawing attention to pay. Many, if not most, of the cheerleaders say they are working second or third jobs just to make ends meet. And that's on top of their grueling training and work hours, at one point in the series, working a 21-day stretch. I spoke with former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader Kat Puryear and asked her about the real challenges she faces behind the scenes. You address pay head on. You compared your professional cheerleading salary to that of a Chick-Fil-A worker who works full time. That's what you said. Tell me more about that. Do you think many Americans would be shocked to find out how little professional cheerleaders actually are being paid?
Yes, I saw a sign for Chick-fil-A workers and I said, should I get a part-time job here? Like, because we're making the exact same amount. So it does boggle my mind because with inflation and with the economy of the world, like how we are in the world, and especially in Texas, we should be compensated with the wages that are in Texas and not minimum wage. To me, there's no sugarcoating it. Like, I did what I had to do because I wanted this to be my whole entire life. I would take on nannying jobs, part-time jobs, front desk jobs that were super flexible so I could get the most out of it. So we're always trying to, I think still now, like, even though I'm not on the team, I'm still always advocating to say, like, what more can we do? How can we get that recognition of being paid fairly and just going about it in a way that's respectful, but also knowing like how hard we work?
I think the realization from the show that so many of these women are at the pinnacle of their professional lives here. It is such an elite organization. It is so competitive. It is so difficult to get this slot. And they are working second and third jobs, just trying to make ends meet while they're doing this. And meanwhile, this is such a profitable organization. I know a couple of years ago, NBC Boston reported DCCs make about $500 per game, they said, about $15 to $20 per hour for practices. And meanwhile, the lowest paid Dallas Cowboys player makes $830,000 a year. The QB has a $160 million contract. Is there an issue here?
I think, so there's a difference, right? We're not the players. We're not bringing in the same amount of money the players are. Let's play point blank period. So I don't think we should be making $800,000, even though that'd be sick as a cheerleader. I don't think we should be making that much. However, do I think we should be getting benefits? Absolutely. Do I think we should be paid more than a part-time employee? Absolutely.
And I will say, certainly, I understand your point that cheerleaders, these professional cheerleaders, are not bringing in as much money to the organization as the players, but they're bringing in something. I mean, there are calendar and merchandise sales and shows, full series for both CMT and Netflix that are entirely about you all, not about the players. So there is money coming in, the speaking engagements, et cetera. We can go on.
There is money coming in.
I want to ask you about this quote that has been widely circulated on the internet and social media since the show premiered from Charlotte Jones, Chief Brand Officer and daughter of owner Jerry Jones, of course. She says of the cheerleaders, quote, "The facts are they actually don't come here for the money. There are not a lot of opportunities in the field of dance to get to perform at an elite level. It is about being part of something bigger than themselves. It's about a sisterhood that they're able to form, about relationships that they have for the rest of their life." Kat, this message that this is not about money, it's about sisterhood and passion. Do you have any feelings about that?
Yes, it is about sisterhood and passion. Absolutely. I met my best friends. However, we can still have best friends, but I'm still paid fairly for my job in commercial leasing. Both are doable.
Understood. Yeah. And I do want to ask you about this topic as well. I know one of your teammates on the series talks about a really scary incident of stalking where an AirTag is actually placed on her car. And I'm really interested in your perspective on what it's like to be a public-facing, beautiful woman and the kind of harassment that has likely always existed, but certainly seems amplified by what stalkers can accomplish with online tools and new tech like this. What is it like?
It's an iconic uniform. People are obsessed and they feel like they have this, and we put ourselves online so people feel like, man, I have this access towards you. So when I was on the team, there were people like getting my address and sending me stuff in the mail, like just very, very weird stuff. And we have security that works kind of over the cyber, and they're protecting us and making sure like subpoenas are served and whatever needs to be done while we're on the team. However, when we're off the team, we don't get that access anymore. And I think that's the kind of the scary part.
I want to talk about the injuries because you and some of the other women in the series talk about serious injuries. How common in particular are these hip injuries and hip surgeries at very young ages as a result of all of this?
Yeah, heck yeah. I did not know I would have these 55, 60-year-old hips at my age, but I do. And not just me, it's like close your eyes and pick one. Like whoever you pick, someone's got an injury, whether it's with your shoulder or with your hip. And we do have a PT on site, which is amazing. Her name is Kendall, but she's just one person and working with 36 girls on the team and then 50 girls in training camp. So she can only do so much. So me, I was like, hey, Kendall, I don't want to get in your way. Just give me a steroid shot and let me get out of here. You know, I have 2 torn labrums and my bones literally are rubbing together, and I can't even sit longer for an hour, longer than an hour without my hips like locking up. And I'm like, that hip surgery is going to be a pain in the butt in like the next few years.
And I think I know the answer to this question, but will the DCC be paying for that hip surgery?
They paid for it, not for me, but they paid for a few. So that Carol, there was a few lucky girls. Carol was lucky. And I think like 3 more. And then after that, they kind of were like, do you guys need this? Everyone's kind of coming now and we're not really proving. Like, so they kind of nipped it in the bud of getting surgery. Carol's lucky.
Goodness gracious. I also want to ask you about a moment that got picked apart online afterwards that maybe on its face seems small. I'd love your perspective. And it's this moment when the cheerleaders are gifted a special DCC Barbie from the organizations. And they get to choose either a white blonde Barbie or a white brunette Barbie. What was your experience like with race and ethnicity in the DCC?
That's a great question. So after COVID, or after the pandemic, we had 11 Black girls on the team, and that's the most Black girls we've ever had. And then we're kind of losing that again. We're losing that diversity, and we're losing the inclusion of representation. We have, I think, 80% of our audiences are Spanish speakers, and we don't have anyone that speaks Spanish on the team.
Do you think there's a very narrow and very, frankly, Eurocentric standard of beauty in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders still?
I don't think it's Eurocentric. Actually, that's a really great question, and you're going to stump me on that one. I think they're. Oh, sis, you got me. They're very traditional. They are very traditional. I think DCC is very traditional, but that's what gets them far. So
it's a difficult topic, and I appreciate you going there with me. I want to ask you, Kat, you've said that you want to break generational curses for your family. What does that mean for you? What do you want for future generations?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh. Well, my mom just passed about 2 months ago, and I constantly think to myself, I constantly think to myself, like, what can I do to just make her happy? I want to break the curse of thinking you have to fit into a stigma in order to fit in places. Because this world is so big and it's so vast, and we're not going to please everyone. But the beautiful thing is, like, when you are yourself, you're going to find the people that love you and people that care about you. And I think that's the legacy that I want to carry on, and what I'm always trying to spread to other people.
That's beautiful. Kat Puryear, what a true pleasure this has been. Thank you so much for your time.
Natasha, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.